shotglassdigital.com.
This is Taylor Gray playing Ezra, and you're listening to Fangirls Going Rogue. Yup.
Rebel Force Radio is brought to you in part by Little Debbie Snacks, bakers of all galactic goodness, like mini donuts, Star Crunch, cosmic cupcakes, cosmic brownies, nutty bars, and much more. It's all about celebrating your love of a galaxy far, far away, and Little Debbie is the fans' choice for all those sweet moments. Little Debbie, official snack of Rebel Force Radio, Rancho Obi-Wan, and fans around the galaxy.
Rebel Force Radio presents...
Hello, what have we here?
Fangirls Going Rogue.
I met her in a Jedi chat room.
Star Wars news, topics, and conversation from the female point of view.
I like the sound of that.
This is Fangirls Going Rogue.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are we ready for Fangirls Going Rogue? And here they are, Teresa Delgado! Give it up for Tricia Barr! And the newest member, Sarah Woloski. Sarah Woloski, come on out!
This is Fangirls.
How are y'all doing? Y'all excited? Are you guys excited?
Are you guys excited? Oh my! We have a fangirl Darth Vader princess right over here. She's all set up for the party, and well, it's a pajama party, right? Show me your pajamas. Who's got some pajamas?
Who's got pajamas on?
Woo! We got Darth Vader PJs. We got beautiful fangirl dresses. Well, everyone, it's a pajama party, so I don't know. Should we do some s'mores? Who's got s'mores? Oh, yeah! See? Good idea. Let's do some.
Did you bring s'mores?
Did you bring s'mores?
Bring s'mores?
Oh no, okay.
Can't do s'mores.
All right, maybe.
Pillow fight.
Pillow fight? Let's do a pillow fight. All right, who got their pillows? No,
No, we don't bring pillows.
no one brought pillows.
Hey, I have an idea.
Yes.
What if we do a story? I have a story.
You do? Oh, you have a
Nightmare on Wall Street.
No.
No. Kids in the audience.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I have a story. It's the legend of the FANgirl. So, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a girl. Her name was Teresa. And she thought she was the only one of her kind, the last of the FANgirls. And then two Ewoks came to her plain town out in the plains. And they said, let's go on an adventure. And their names were Podcast and Blogger. And they were looking for a wizened old fangirl of legend. And her name was Tricia. She's really old. She was a survivor of the Jaina and Jag ship wars. This is true. It's not legendary. And then Teresa and Tricia went on an adventure, and they were battling the empire of popular opinion. That fangirls don't exist. And along the way, we found a new ally and a Jedi with pixie dust powers named Sarah. And finally, at the battle of social media, the Death Star of merchandise was destroyed, and there were toys for boys and girls. And so, with that, they had a fangirl flail.
Welcome, fanboys and fangirls, to another exciting episode of Fangirls Going Rogue. Only this episode is our pajama party. So we are coming to you live from the podcast stage at Celebration Anaheim, and I'm one of your hosts, Teresa Delgado, and with me are my co-hosts, Tricia Barr and Sarah Woloski. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Howdy.
We are excited to be here. We are the Fangirls Going Rogue. And oh my goodness. So we just had an awesome pajama party at Celebration Anaheim. Now, you say pajama?
Pajama?
I think that's what
Is
you
this like
said.
Pajama?
Is this like
Pajama,
the potato?
pajama.
I think so.
I say pajamas.
Really?
It's a pajama.
That's so funny. I say pajama.
How about if I just say PJ?
Oh. 3 ways to say
That's
it.
getting too complicated.
Well, regardless, we are bringing the party plus a few other surprises to all of you listeners out there. We are excited.
Yep, and as we are a part of the Rebel Force Radio Network, we also are a part of the whole theory of no fan left behind, and that is our plan for today.
Yeah, this is our thing's been the fangirl flail, right? We're talking about it, living it up. And obviously, you just heard the legend of the fangirl flail. And
Absolutely.
So we have to talk about our fangirl flail moments of the convention. And Sarah, what was yours?
Okay, so I just feel like, meeting everyone on social media is so much fun, but on Wednesday night, even before the convention started, my husband Richard and I went to the Rebel Force radio party, and within 5 minutes of entering, I was dressed as Jedi Tink, by the way. Within 5 minutes of entering, just this whole group of people just converged, and I met all these people that I had only ever met online or talked to through Twitter, and it was just the most fun time ever. And I think it just really describes what a great community Star Wars is. And just the fans are the nicest. And we just had a blast at that party. And that moment sticks out because that was the very first time that happened this entire weekend. And I do have to say that happened so many other times during the weekend that it was just so much fun. And oh my goodness, I was glad we had buttons to hand out to everyone that's acknowledged us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was where obviously the energy started. Until that point, it was sort of the banners were up on the outside of the convention center and you knew it was going to happen. And then it was like, wow, okay, this is really starting to happen. And we're going to be podcasting soon ourselves. And that was definitely a moment. And it went crazy from there. So
yeah,
Teresa, what was your fangirl flail moment?
Well, there were a ton, but probably the biggest was getting to meet Freddie Prinze Jr. and interview him, and it was really cool. He's a really nice guy, and I know a lot of people talk about Star Wars celebrities and say, oh, they're really nice or they're really friendly or whatever, and that's all true. But I think the best word I have to describe him is that he is for just a real individual. And what I mean by that is that he's just completely upfront and honest with you, and he just kind of tells it how it is, and he just talks, and it was really cool, and it's not one of those flail moments where you're like flailing, and just so excited on the outside because, you can't do that. I mean, you got to play cool.
You got to be cool.
You got to be cool.
Got to keep your head together. And then
he gives you a hug, and you're just like, I'm cool. Aww. And then he jumps on me for taking his nameplate thing from the press conference. And I was like, I didn't do that. Because I didn't do it. I was just asked to have it signed. And so I blame James Burns for Jedi News for Freddie Prinze Jr. going, thanks for stealing my sign. I didn't steal it.
Well, did you guys see that James photobombed our fangirl flail?
Yes, I did.
He photobombed us where he was going, nah,
But it was a funny photobomb because it was on the side. Usually you see that on the back,
I think that was because you're looking at the pictures and you see them on Twitter or whatever, or Facebook, but then you get to sit down and look at them and I'm like, oh, he totally photobombed us. And well, thank you, James. We appreciate it because it made it extra special that, he's there. So I thought that was spectacular. Aww. So how about if we play this little bit of soundbite from Freddie Prinze Jr. and let everybody listen to what he had to say for himself?
Roll it. I'm Teresa Delgado from FANgirls Going Rogue.
I'm Freddie from Rebels.
As if we all didn't know.
Yeah.
So on our show, we focus on the fangirl aspect and kind of, having young kids that are involved in Star Wars and stuff. So we wanted to ask you what it's like to have a daughter who loves Star Wars and Vader, and getting to share that with your family and with fangirls in your family like Sarah.
Yeah, that's kind of the best part of the whole process, right? That's funny, but it would be mean for me to say. I was going to say, they don't pay us, so it better be fun. But, for me, my wife's doing the show because my daughter thinks it's so great. And that's why she's doing it. Like, my wife is a nerd, but in different ways than me. She didn't see Star Wars 100 times. She saw it a normal human amount of times, a proper amount. But to see her daughter's face sort of explode in delight when she sees her daddy do amazing things or get genuinely scared and sometimes not want to watch when bad things are happening to daddy, that's what inspired her to come into our second season, and she gets to play a great character that people will love, and that I can't say too much or people will know what kind of character she is, but my daughter is going to flip out when she sees her. So in that aspect, Star Wars is for children, whether you're 40, 60, 20, or 2. It's made for that kid inside you. And I always thought it told a more honest story than most of the other cartoons or television shows or movies out there. Because, like we were discussing earlier, the good guys don't always win. Sometimes they lose. And that's a real lesson that people have to figure out in life. And in this generation of instant gratification where there's literally no such thing as patience, right? Because there doesn't have to be patience anymore. People don't have to wait for hardly anything. And then they wonder why their relationships screw up. Because you didn't wait, man. You texted 27 times after y'all went on your first date. Like, that's stalker status. When I was a kid, if you called someone after a date 20 times, they ain't calling you back ever because you're a creep show.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if you don't, they're like, well, he didn't text or she didn't text. What's going on? Like, yeah, you don't want them to. But people can't wait. They need everything right now, and Star Wars has never done that, and it makes fans angry sometimes, but it's what's right for them. And whether they know it or not, Star Wars is saving you from yourself. And Dave mentioned it's like nobody ever asks about what happened in season 1. They all just want to know what happened in season 2. And we're in that generation of, can't wait. Sorry, wait. You can think I'm a jerk. Sometimes my daughter thinks I'm a jerk. I just say, wait. She goes, how much longer? I go, a lot longer.
Well,
and she asks again, I say, now I've added time to it. Now you're going to wait even more than necessary. It was an hour, and I'm adding an hour. And it makes her nuts. She goes bananas, and her friends would never even fathom that concept because their parents wouldn't do it to them. You know what I mean? Because they're a part of the not waiting anymore either. So that's what I've always loved about Star Wars. Our show does it too. You don't know everything about our characters at the end of season 1. You know that they had a small victory in the grand scheme of things, and now they're in some trouble. And that's the long-winded version of the answer. Now, I've had to be short-winded this whole minute, so you guys are getting the long-winded version. Kanan doesn't like governments. Kanan doesn't like politics. And he certainly doesn't like clones, based off his history. So what they were doing, I think, was something that you have to remember. Hera was the only one who knew they were a part of something bigger. And I think Kanan is a creature of habit, like most men in their late 20s, that refuse to change and then figure it out in their mid-30s. Oh, that's why chicks hate me. But I think he's not in a place where he's ready to compromise yet. He is not a full-blown Jedi master who would understand how to negotiate through the sort of political world of war. But I think he's in a position where he's going to be working with people that he does not like, working with people that he does not respect, then he's going to put them in a position where you have to earn it. And if you're not willing to earn it, then, not that a Jedi would say this, but F you. You know what I mean? Like, you guys killed my master. You killed everybody that I ever knew and taught. So if you want me to trust you, you got to earn it. Think about if you met this old guy that was going to help you out, and that old guy was responsible or represented what was responsible for killing your parents, basically. There's going to be some growing pains. It's not going to be like, okay, now we're on the same team fighting a common enemy. No. There's trust issues there. There's programming issues there that Dave even discussed about chips and heads and things like that. So how can you trust somebody who's not programmed to be trustworthy? So, whether they say they're not programmed anymore or not, how's he going to believe that? Mm-hmm. Why would he believe that? So I think Ahsoka will play a major part without giving too much away as far as letting him know who he can trust and who he can't. And he'll have a very special respect for Ahsoka as well. You'll see their partnership and their relationship grow quickly as far as what he thinks of her and how she feels about him. When we first talked about the character and I did research, the last thing that I would check is, I wonder why he changed his name, or I wonder, where this name came from. For me, it was all about Dappa in that moment and how he deals with something that's horrible, something that victimized him, and then, because he's a kid still in a lot of ways, something that he feels shame about because he feels partially responsible. And I think you get a touch of that in the interrogation scene with Jason Isaacs. But you don't get a full sense of it until season 2. And he'll have a moment where he kind of lets it all out after he's had to deal with his tenuous relationship with Rex. I don't think I'm giving away too much by saying that, but you'll see they don't see eye to eye on much. And Rex, God bless him, he knows what he represents to this kid. And I think you guys will see a very compassionate and open-hearted Rex, much more so than the stoic sort of centurion soldier type that he was from Clone Wars, with the awesome blue shoulder piece. But you'll see a more grandfather. A grandfather doesn't take any crap, and won't take it from Kanan either, but a broader view of the Outer Rim, as opposed to this sort of myopic, Jedi rebel view that Kanan's in, which is, survive, attack, survive, attack, survive, attack. Rex is older, wiser. He wants to know more about the reason why you fight. War only serves itself. He's at that point in his life, and Kanan's just not there. So I haven't applied any of it to my performance as far as the meaning of the name, and we spent some time speaking about that today. That's more what the creators of the show are doing, and they're finding that the name that sounds wonderful and not, like, why would I follow that guy? Like John McClane was a great name. If it was John Johnson, you're like, no, not watching Die Hard 1, let alone 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or whatever they mean. So that's more from the writer and the writers or creator of a show. For me, the name it doesn't have the importance that maybe fans want it to have for me, because he's a lot more than that. It's not so much the name that helps me shape who this guy is so much as it is the history, because that's how real life sort of shapes us. I'm the kind of guy I am because of, the people that I lost, the people that I found, the people who inspired me to do right, the people who, whether they were doing wrong or right? You learn what not to do sometimes by admiring people, because you see how their life ends up, and you're like, ooh, I admired that guy. Let's make sure we don't do that again. You know what I mean? So, that's more what shapes a character for me. At least that's how I personally create one. In martial arts, they say there's no bad teachers, there's only bad students, but I never agreed with that. There's the opposite is there's no bad students, but there's only bad teachers. I don't agree with that either. It takes an equal amount of effort from two people to make anything work when there's a partnership involved, whether that's Ezra and Kanan or Hera and Kanan, whether it's love, friendship, brothers, or teacher-student relationships. So, I learned from, my Uncle Jim a lot of stuff that sort of taught me how to be a man, and I saw him do a lot of stuff that I would never do ever. And that wasn't a lesson that he intended, but it's still a lesson learned, and you'll see a lot of that in season 2, especially between Kanan and Rex. Their relationship, season 2, I think, is a very dominant presence over the first half of our season anyway. And it's sort of what helps open that door into what makes Kanan tick, and a lot of into what makes Rex tick for people who aren't familiar with it enough yet. And for people who are familiar with him, they sort of get to see his perspective on the Clone Wars now as a senior citizen, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. While they're getting, early bird dinners and stuff and trying to be alone and away from everybody, and all of a sudden these kids come and they say, Ahsoka sent us. He could be Clint Eastwood or he could be Jack Lemmon. You don't know which way he's going to go. And I think he's representative of Clint, and his heart and soul is much more Jack Lemmon in this form of Rex. T may have a different opinion, but as far as my experiences and my character with him, that's what I really pulled from his performance, which makes it harder for Kanan to attack him, right? Because he's not being a jerk. And it's that constant, every time I test him with something and he passes that test, he earns a little bit more. I don't think Kanan's going to, and you'll see in the performance, he doesn't give it up right away. It's not like we do one episode and it's the Cosby Show and at the end all the problems are worked out. This is actively going on even right now as we're still recording. But in the beginning, that's definitely what the relationship is. If you know everything, then your character gets boring pretty quick. So there have to be challenges and there have to be faults and qualities. He can't just kick everybody's butt, and he can't always be right all the time. Right. I mean, shows do that, but it's just not shows that I watch. But yeah, man. I mean, I know what Dave wants, I'd say 99% of the time. And, you know, if I'm wrong, Dave's pretty cool, man. Like, he's open-minded to any take you have on the line and is willing to explore it if you cut something differently than how he heard it. But, you know, Dave and I are very similar. Like, we're close to the same age. We both played World of Warcraft for like 7 years. We both almost lost our wives because of it. Like, we're big gamers, big anime dorks. Like, the first 2 anime he bought were the same first 2 that I ever bought, which was Vampire Hunter D and Ninja Scrolls. Nice. And we both ordered them from Manga on the 800 number. This was back in like the late 80s or early 90s. But yeah, so, you know, a lot of Kanan is Dave and a lot of Kanan is me. But the two of us together, I mean, he wants Kanan cocky, Dave's cocky, you know what I mean? And my grandfather would say, it ain't bragging if you've done it, you know what I mean? And Dave's done it, so that cockiness is warranted. It's not ha-ha in your face, it's, wow, this is good. You know what I mean? So my grandfather also said, if 100 people tell you you're dead, to lay down. So if everybody's screaming and yelling at how awesome something is, you know, you don't let it go to your head, but you got to believe their opinion, you know what I mean? To them, it's awesome, and not everybody likes Picasso, but the people that do are very moved by the work he did, and that's kind of how I look at all artists. Mm-hmm. And Dave takes them both equally, the criticism and the love equally. You know, he embraces both, and that's the way you challenge yourself. That's the way you evolve. And he told a story about his wife not liking Ezra and how he kind of just started from scratch and started over, and that's challenging yourself. So I think it's important to not know exactly how he's going to react in every type of situation, because otherwise the performance isn't as organic and as natural as it needs to be. You want things to sort of catch you off guard. You want to have questions when you get there to record to say, Dave, you know, I read this line and I was thinking this, but I'm not quite sure if that's the right thing, because that means those are the questions that other people are going to ask when they see it, and it's got people's brains going. So it's all good, whether you're 100% there, or whether you feel you're 100% there, or if you're 90, because we all kind of work together. I asked Vanessa, you know, did you like that take? And she'll always say yes, because she's super nice. But, you know, if I ask her for her opinion, or, hey, how would you read this line? I mean, she'll do it, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's all it takes, is somebody gives you an idea and you just run with it.
Sure. Okay.
Excuse me.
So, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, but a lot of people are referring to Kanan and Hera as being space married. And so it's something
define space marriage for me.
Space married is basically
they're married in space.
They're married in space,
but
they're not actually.
But they're not actually. You're allowed
married.
to date whoever you want.
Yeah.
Like, only in space.
Only in space.
Okay, so it's monogamy in space.
Yes.
Gotcha.
No, it's just that they're, you know, that they are a couple, and a lot of people want them to be a couple, and we hear Hera say love and things like that, which I don't interpret that way. And I've discussed it with Vanessa in depth, and she has her own opinions, but I'm curious as to how you would define their relationship.
I think they're very much in love, and I don't think there's much time for relationships in the middle of a war. So that's how I describe it. I don't know how Vanessa does, but I know that they've had a relationship, and if you read the novel, then you know that. And so we don't hide that, you know what I mean? But it is Disney Channel, you know. There's artists out there whose, you know, mind isn't as hip to the business as it is creatively in tune, so they'll go and draw like some crazy sex scene between Kanan, and that's not because they're a dirtbag. They don't understand that's creatively how they see things, and they're expressing that creatively. Whereas, you know, if they worked for George Lucas, they'd be like, sorry, bro, don't even pitch that. It's Disney, and you can't do that. But the artist's brain doesn't work like that. The artist's brain sees an image in their head, and they want to, you know, put that on paper and show you to see what you think. So, you know, to me, it's awesome that people see that and want to commit to that. But don't think that you're going to see a scene with Hera and Kanan, you know, making out. And it's not a spoiler or anything. It's just not going to happen, man. That's not the story we're telling. You see the love and you feel the love, which gets people talking. But they're in the middle of a war, man. I mean, look, I was in what was considered one of the worst science fiction movies ever made. I think it was considered the third worst. I don't remember which two beat it. There was an L. Ron Hubbard one, which took second. I think that was Battlefield Earth. Jesus. And there was one other one that was even crappier than ours, but it was Wing Commander. And it was the same kind of vibe with Matt Lillard's character and Ginny. I don't remember Ginny's last name. Beautiful British actress. And they have a love scene, and it's the end of it, right? Like, they're just kissing, and all of a sudden, you know, the sirens go off, and she's like, oh, come on, you know, let's go again. And he's like, can I do? It's war. You know what I mean? And he's out. My character doesn't get any booty in that movie. That's probably why it sucked. But Lillard's did. But that's kind of what Hera and Kanan are going through. It's the middle of a war, man. There's no time for ooey gooey feelings. You know what I mean? Because you never know when you're going to get attacked. I think most movies play at that, and so I feel we're in line with that.
Even for the king of 90s romantic comedies.
Hey man, you know, it's one thing for the rom-com movies and the teen love, you know what I mean? But if they did some of that in Star Wars, I feel like people would literally explode, like in anger. You know what I mean? Like I remember people getting hot during the second trilogy at like guys like Jar Jar, and I always thought like that's unnecessary criticism because that's a very selfless character. It's a very brave character who puts himself and his people on the front lines, and they're not even warriors. They're not Marines. They're not clones. You know what I mean? They're doing that out of love and passion and respect. And so to crap on that says more about you than it does about Jar Jar. It says more about what you're willing to do in a situation of crisis, which is, I'll be in the back. I'm not a fighter. I just talk trash. Sorry, you can't say this. So, you know, to me, I never took that Jar Jar criticism well because to me, that was just cowards talking trash. But if Kanan and Hera were making out in a scene and people started talking, I just have to take that. Like, you just got to take that. That's you messed up. You shouldn't have done that in a Star Wars movie. You know, you ain't going to see that with Anakin and his lady. You know what I mean? Like, even then it was contained and it was, you know, isolated. It was more looks of struggle and pain. We want to be together. We can't be together because of politics, because of war, because of all these things. You know, they didn't even go for it. And I would never want to take anyone out of the Star Wars universe, even for a second, with a bad mistake like that. So who knows? I say that in the next episode we may have a full-on sex scene.
Now, how about that? Teresa, I'm surprised you made it through, but you know, that's part of being interviewing. You have to be cool. You can't get too crazy in these moments. So good questions, and I hope everybody enjoyed getting to hear him talk.
Oh, I did. I really want to have him on the show, though, so we can spend a lot more time talking about other cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like She's All That remakes and, you know, things.
His energy is like out the roof, but when he plays Kanan, he kind of he's really harnessed and reserved. You know, he has to be a Jedi, so he can't be totally, you know, the way he is in real life. So I'm listening to him more and more. I'm getting more respect for where he has to kind of draw that character in from what he naturally is.
Right.
His energy level. So, you know, the whole cast was amazing. But all right, I just can't not talk about the flail moment that all of us had, right? Which was...
What are you getting at? What are you referring to, Tricia?
What are you talking about?
Nothing happened. Celebration Anaheim. No, what happened? I'm going to just say that I so appreciate how they rolled this out. And nobody calls it anything but the JJKK panel. So it's just by the initials. So it
the JJK panel.
The JJK. But and I've seen so many people say this since the panel. Is Kathleen Kennedy not just the best person ever?
She's the bestest.
The mostest best.
The best representative of Star Wars.
But, I mean, come on. Like, BB-8? BB-8?
Yeah, BB-8 was ridiculous. Okay, guys, you know how much I love Kit War, right?
Yes.
BB-8 is, like, better than Kit War.
Wait,
what?
And you can hashtag BB-8 on Twitter now.
Yeah, I saw that. You were playing around with that on Tuesday, weren't you, Tricia?
You can hashtag BB-8. So how amazing is that? BB-8. And just hashtag BB-8, no dash, just BB-8 and watch what pops up on your Twitter because it's like amazing.
It is. It's very fun.
But please tell me you guys saw CP30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Richard and I saw that right away. We looked at each other. We're like, oh. Someone's getting fired back there.
And screenshotted it and like took a picture and posted it. And I was like, Star Wars epic fail.
Yeah, they probably had a lot going on.
Yeah.
I it was a spell check thing, but really, who cares?
Yeah.
They were probably all excited, but yeah, my brain was for a moment like, I think that was wrong, but I'm so excited I don't even care. And then when he said it wrong, I'm like, okay, that must have really been what I saw because, but that's fine because I think probably whoever was writing that was still distracted by BB-8 rolling around backstage or something. That's what I'm going with because I would have been totally distracted by BB-8.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And there is
Archie wanted to kick him.
I think he did too. I think he said, "You little soccer ball, I'm punting you right off the stage." But
I'm supposed to be the cutest one.
If Chopper had been there, he would have punted him.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine BB-8 and Chopper? BB-8 and R2 is one thing, but BB-8 and Chopper, I can't even. It's like you're stealing my colors. What's wrong with you?
Well, and have you seen, but I mean, because there was a lot of screaming. And so there's the video of BB-8 coming out where they have the sound and you can hear he was making the vocalizations even to R2-D2. You can hear it on the video.
Just say a couple words about BB-8. This could get ugly.
Is there a little rivalry between them?
To him. So they were doing their little smack talk for real. So whoever
smack talk.
Now we all speak R2. I don't think only Sabine and is it Zeb speak or only Sabine and Harris speak Chopper. So
right.
Now we'll have to all learn BB-8, whatever that is. And then in the trailer, of course, the best part is so Rey and Finn are running. Running and BB-8, they're running, they're not looking back. And BB-8 looks back at the TIE fighter like, oh, we need to go faster, type thing. That was one of my favorite things in that moment.
Oh, what else struck you about the trailer?
Everything.
Well,
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. No, you know what? It struck me about the trailer, but it's not necessarily about the trailer. And I feel bad because I've never really talked about this. But when I was waiting in line for the trailer, I get a tweet that says something like, "I thought that was you. I'm standing right behind you." And I was like, what? And I turned around and it's this girl, Jen, and she owns a website called AnakinandHisAngel.com.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually started my entire online blogging career writing for her site.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it was like we were old friends and we actually sat next to each other for the trailer. So it was a really cool, unexpected moment of something that happened, way back in like 2007, 8, around there somewhere. We're friends now and we got to experience something really, really cool together. And she gave me my start. So yay.
Wow.
Yay.
That's awesome.
I had a moment on somebody walking in front of Kay and I, who was cosplaying Rey most of the weekend. And I thought we were talking and I thought he kept turning around to look at her costume. And then finally he turns around and he's like, "Tricia?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, here I go." I had a lot of those moments where, and then he goes, "I listen to your voice all the time." And I'm like, okay. And so it's like one of those kind of surreal moments, but it was neat. It was neat to have that. But did you guys, so this is my thing. When the trailer first comes up and obviously there's the speeder going across.
Yes.
And did you realize when did you realize that mountain was a Star Destroyer?
Like literally the split second before the shot changed.
That's exactly. I was like, Star Destroyer. And then it went cut away. I'm like,
yeah,
oh!
I know. I didn't have a moment to figure it out. And they planned that, man. Richard saw it first before me. I could hear him go, "Oh," and then I was like, what is he looking at? And then I saw it and then it cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was like one of those things where like, oh, and then I was like, oh man, no, go back. Yeah. No, don't stop. Don't go forward.
Exactly. And then you're thinking about that and you're not taking in what you're watching. So I'm so glad they played it twice.
Well, I know I got to sit with Skywalking Through Neverland when you had a bunch of people for a round table at the end of the con, and there was so many. You had all the people sitting there talking about each of their moments, and everybody had a different thing. So there's so many discussions out there. So where can people find that, Sarah? Is it up already?
So that will be episode 74 of Skywalking Through Neverland, and it should be up by the time this episode airs. So yes, everyone check out skywalkingthroughneverland.com. It should be the latest episode, 74. Now, I know that was a really fun time, that round table. And going back to our podcast stage panel, we were able to give away Jedi Tink Pixie Dust and Darth Dust. Oh, I'm sorry. We were able to give away Jedi Tink Midichlorian Dust and Darth Dust, courtesy of Patty Hammond and her husband, Mike. So I want to give a big shout out to them because they put together these gorgeous little jars that you can wear around your neck, and they're so cute. They're filled with, of course, green pixie dust and some pink and some red. We were able to hand those out at our panel, and also we have a few left over too. So I was giving away pixie dust all through the weekend. It was really fun.
Yeah, you never know where those will pop up again, but if you find us, you might get a bottle.
Uh-huh. That's true. Yeah, in fact, they might pop up at Disneyland a lot because I happen to go there a lot, and I'll be taking some with me.
Yeah, so go find her and get yourself some. And we weren't the only ones that got to share our fangirl flail moments at are we saying PJ now? I'm scared to say the word.
Just say it. Potato, pajama.
Pajama.
To share our fangirl flail moments at the pajama party.
Pajamas? What? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Were you speaking, Teresa?
At that party we had where we wore some stuff.
Some slippers.
The one where you wear comfy pants and comfy shirts. But Geek K from FANgirl Blog joined us to talk all about merchandise and some of the things that she's most excited about. So let's talk to Kay.
So Kay, I'm so excited to have you here. And I know I have not had time to go down to the convention hall at all and look around at the merchandise. Now, did you have some time?
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time down there yesterday, and there were so many things to look at, and a lot of lines at booths, which have gotten better since the first day. There was some craziness, but for clothing, there's a lot of ones out there that's good for your generic Rebel Alliance or Imperial shirts. I think the absolute best, especially for fangirls, are Her Universe and We Look Fine. They have some cool stuff out there right now.
All right, so does your fangirl flail moment have something to do with the merchandise?
No.
Oh, well, what is your fangirl flail moment? Because, we're all sharing today.
Well, it does have to do with clothing, kind of, in a way. I have been cosplaying as Rey from The Force Awakens. She was fantastic, by the way. So yesterday and the day before, I was wearing a costume, and the 501st, the Belgian group that built Rey's theater, I don't know if you guys have been able to see it, immediately the first day out, they pulled me into there, and they were comparing the costumes they made with my costume, and then they let me get on the speeder and take photos and everything. And it just, that whole experience, being able to interact with people because of that costume has been mind-blowing.
Wow, I know, speaking as a cosplayer, it's fun. It's very interesting the situations you can get in because of cosplay. So that's awesome that you decided to cosplay Rey. Now, going back to the merchandise, are there any exclusives that you want?
Not really.
Okay, well, what about Her Universe items? Because come on, everyone here I know wants some Her Universe.
Yes. Actually, my favorite is the sweatshirt that Teresa is wearing right now. May the Force be with you. It's super soft.
It is the softest thing I've ever worn in my life.
But they also have some really cool dresses. You can check them out. The new pinup style dresses. And then there's the new Star Wars logo shirt that's made out of lightsabers. And that's the same one Captain Kennedy wore to the opening panel. It's a really cool shirt.
Yeah, I also saw Ashley Eckstein wearing that today at the Rebels panel, as well as the skirts.
Yes. There's also a lightsaber skirt. So you can be fully lightsabered out.
So
So something that we actually heard about if you were at one of the Hot Wheels panels, when they have an R2KT exclusive Hot Wheel that you can go and get at the convention. But in addition to that, they did mention that they have a whole line coming out of female Hot Wheels cars, so female characters as Hot Wheels cars. Yes, Star Wars female characters. And I know for a fact that there will be a Sabine. I haven't seen it, but I know that it's coming, so I'm excited for that. I mean, I collect Hot Wheels, so I'm super stoked.
So that would be your fangirl flair item, I suppose. Not really, but that would be your merchandise.
Well, I'm a collector, so I have to get all of that stuff. And then there's, of course, the Ewoks that just came out with Disney Parks merch that I want all of them. I think there's 6.
Well, and along with the Ewoks thing, which is if you guys haven't heard, it's a 6 Ewok plush set. It's being released over the next year, and the first one is out now, right across the street, and it's Chief Sherpa. But there's also going to be a new Rebels playset, which actually includes Sabine and Hera in it. So that's pretty cool.
Woo, judging from our fangirl reactions on here, that is awesome. Oh my goodness. And we do have a Chief Sherpa right here as a giveaway item today at this panel.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys didn't see the announcement, it's Sherpa, Tebow, Wicket, Princess Nisa, Roomba, and Walgrein. So, yay!
Wow, amazing. Do you have any questions?
No, I just have to mention that when I was writing Ultimate Star Wars, which is for sale here, the book, I couldn't ask Teresa all the Ewok names, but I did kind of on the slide ask her, like, what about this Ewok? Because the girl's amazing, she knows her Ewoks. Kay and I talk a lot about just subtle fashion and some of the Wheeler Fine stuff that you saw.
Yeah, they're actually my favorite item there. There's a pair of like Han Solo inspired shorts. So they're blue shorts and then they have the red curling blood shirt on the side. And they have like a Han Solo shirt. It's a little more loud and out there than the other ones, but it's cool.
Wow, speaking of someone who owns those Han Solo leggings, yeah, I have to have the shorts now. Oh, see? And yeah, ooh, very, very beautiful. All right, Kay, well, thank you for joining us today. And yeah, everyone, welcome.
Can we get a round of applause?
For Kay.
Okay, guys, so The Force Awakens was great, and I love it, but it wasn't the only excitement out there, and it wasn't the only thing that made me cry. I don't know about you guys, but it definitely was not the only thing that made me cry. So, in addition to all of that, it was Star Wars Rebels Day on Saturday, and oh my God. I can't even begin to explain to you my excitement and how I may have harmed Aaron in the course of watching the Rebels Season 2 trailer.
Did you grab him and hit him or something?
I did. Multiple times.
Which part?
He was sitting next to me. I think at the Rex part, I grabbed either his arm or his leg really hard. And then on the Hondo part, I basically wrestling clotheslined him in the chest.
Oh, well, that's Aaron Goins, her Star Wars Bookworms co-host. So but he's okay, right?
Oh yeah, he's fine.
All right, he's okay.
But I just sort of wham. I heard him at one point go.
I had to struggle a little sometimes trying to be really chillaxed in the midst of media that I was sitting amongst. So, but crying. I think there was crying. In that, well, there was a lot of crying moments at the convention. You would think we were all sad. They need to pass out tissues. But all I thought of when, Rex shows up was that halfway through the trailer when he shows up, all I thought was of Johnamarie. So from the Wookiee Gunner, because, we all know she's a fan. And it was it was nice to see the connection to the Clone Wars. So we had a little bit more. And then, I'm totally stoked for, we have 22 episodes this season.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. We're going to hear way more backstory according to a lot of the according to Dave Filoni and Simon Kinberg. We get to hear a lot more backstory of these characters, which is so exciting. Oh, and I think even after the whole panel, all of us got to go to a special press conference with all the Rebels actors.
And the funny part was that we had to go. I saw all the media getting up and starting to run because we had to go the left, and then the crowd was being released behind. Mm-hmm. So did you guys get caught in the crowd going to the press conference, or did you make it there clean?
Richard and I got there a little late because we actually stayed behind and talked with DJ Elliott and Mark Edwards on the stage and got both of their contact info, and they might be on Skywalking Through Neverland in the future episodes.
Those guys have energy, man. They were pumping up the crowd, the whole celebration. They were awesome. So, and then Sarah might have had a little fangirl flail during the press conference.
Well, absolutely. You know what? Richard was able to grab the mic. He's not shy about things. So he was able to grab the mic and ask a question of the cast and of Dave Filoni. So as always, he lent some energy to the room, and let's play that for you now.
Hey, guys, thank you very much for everything that you've done for Star Wars. Guys, let's make a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Rich Woloski, Skywalking Through Neverland. First of all, I shed a tear during the Force Awakens trailer, and I shed a tear during Season 2 trailer back there when I messed this whole convention. But I want to ask each of it and every one of you, how do you feel when you come to a celebration and you see kids and adults cosplaying as your character? Dave, let's start with you.
Love it. It's the number one thing I look forward to. I designed this stuff, I sketched it on a piece of paper one day, knowing that Ventress will walk in the room.
I know.
I drew that outfit on a piece of paper one day, and there it happens. Bo-Katan's Mandalorian helmet I drew on a Southwest napkin, and then that becomes part of Star Wars. It never, ever gets old. I was outside the convention and Zeb walked up to me. Hera walks up to you. It's what it's all about, and the amount of work that everybody does to make those costumes is, I just love it. I super appreciate it.
My favorite one was last year at Comic-Con. There was a cosplay, Dave Filoni. Yes. I wish I could project from my phone up to the wall, because it was a guy with that hat and black shirt, and Dave doesn't want to believe it was him, but I think it was him.
You have my wife obsessed with this.
Yeah. I tried to track him down. And I saw that guy over there with the hat, and I thought maybe we'd found him again, but that's not.
There's now people that have this shirt and a hat. I think you're all crazy. This is something you guys see. I appreciate it. It means we should hang out more, maybe. But
I'm working on my Dave Filoni costume. On the shirt. I'm halfway there. Yeah.
One of the bold things about the show when we started it was, I think, the instinct, the easiest instinct would be if you were creating a new show and it's the first thing from the new Lucasfilm, essentially. You would lean on the legacy characters. You would make an animated show based on the brand names that everybody knows, and we did the opposite. All these guys up here obviously are completely original characters, and that was a bold thing to do. It was something that wasn't immediately clicked and made sense for all the powers that be, and it was an extra responsibility, obligation to create characters that were as compelling as the greatest characters of all time, and that's who they're competing with. And so to come here and see the kind of energy and affection that people have for these characters that didn't exist 2 years ago in the world, that didn't exist on screen a year plus ago, is pretty incredible. Like Dave said, the amount of time someone stitches together a costume based on a character that literally did not exist out of someone's imagination a year and a half, 2 years ago, is surreal and very gratifying.
And now, Tricia, you also had an exciting moment. You got the mic at the very end.
Yeah, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And And then I was like, what's going to happen? Is someone going to answer my question? Because it was, it was back and forth between sides, and there were so many great questions. And I was like, what did that person ask? And did they ask my question? Because I didn't listen because I was so nervous thinking about what I had to say. And so I had to remember because, I have all these people who are experienced in there. And I'm like, I have to remember my name. That's really, it's important. And then I was like, okay, so I'm very thankful that I said Fangirls Going Rogue last because we had a little enthusiasm from the press there.
Yeah, that was exciting.
I might have whooped first.
I
might have been like, whoop, and then got other people to do it.
Other people jumped in. So, hey, anyway, listen to the question, and you can't get the terror of me actually realizing that Dave Filoni and Simon Kinberg are actually looking me in the face and answering the question. But while you're listening to it, imagine my terror because they were talking right to me, which is one of the things that is kind of fun about being in a press conference. So let's roll it.
So you guys, we have time for one last question. Right there.
Hi, Tricia Barr from FANgirl Blog, Star Wars Insider, and Fangirls Going Rogue. And you're working, obviously, with these important characters like Vader and the Emperor we heard in season 2. What do you do? What's your process to safeguard their legacies as you tell more stories about them, running up to who they are in the original trilogy?
That's a great question. With Vader in particular, I think it's a big challenge because you can't undermine his power. I think already in the trailer you see that we really haven't done that. There would have been probably an animation. One of the interesting things about Vader, there have been a lot of instinct in animation to now that we're not encumbered by what the suit limitations were as far as his fighting. So he could be faster, he could be quicker if we wanted him to be. But we absolutely did not go that way. And if you watch the trailer, you can see that Keith Kellogg and the animation team did a meticulous job at studying his fighting style. So that's very true to the stature and the power that Vader has. He was never acrobatic in particular. He was never that fast. He's just a mountain of fear and hate and power. And that's what we tried to throw at Kanan and Ezra when they do have that encounter with him. So, but again, that's why the group dynamic in story is so important. Because it will go through a filter of people, everybody reading this script, and together we make sure that we're not going too far with things, that we're not undermining things that are happening maybe other places that we don't know. We were very careful not to have the Emperor in season 1. There would be no reason why he would be involved with our rebels. So again, the group process is so important to keeping the integrity that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we all see ourselves as custodians of the same flame. And whenever it starts to flicker out a little bit, there are a lot of, like you say, safeguards. There's a lot of safeguards along the way that step in and protect it. So it's a team of people that love the same thing, like you do.
Oh, such a great question, Tricia.
Thank you.
I was very proud of you.
Yes.
Very proud of you.
Well, I figured I could use the quotes sometime in a Star Wars Insider article, maybe. And you guys, I thought I'd share this with you too. I got to pitch my next Star Wars Insider article in the kind of hero's journey stuff and on the Star Wars Insider panel.
Oh.
And guess what character I got to pitch?
Hondo.
I'm gonna say
Jag.
Ahsoka Tano.
Oh yes, I got to pitch my right there on the stage. So there you go. People heard it first there. If you were at the Star Wars Insider panel, which was a lot of fun, because thank you, Erish Shenavice and Mark Newbold for bringing beers to the panel. It made it exciting.
Awesome.
Well, in the middle of our pajama party, we sent Sarah on her first Rogue Rouge mission ever to talk to some of the VIPs on the red carpet for the Star Wars Rebels premiere. So, Sarah,
yes,
please enlighten us into what this was like.
I will. Yeah, I was sad. I wasn't old enough to stay overnight at the pajama party. So my parents had to come pick me up, or in this case, my husband. And now, so Richard and I ran downstairs to the red carpet where there was like a huge crush of people just trying to see, you know, all of the red carpet. Like they were all gathered around the space. And even, you know how there's steps that go up to the next like 3 levels of the convention center? People were all lined on the steps as well. So like the balconies were lined with people. They were all trying to see. And so Richard and I walk up to the red carpet entrance and we show them our bands and we're like, hey, we're here to check in. And they go, okay, come right in. And they let us on. You know, it's very exciting. And we got our spot. And on the red carpet, it's really interesting. They have basically signs so that the actors can see what media outlet you're from. Mm-hmm. And so we were there under Fangirls Going Rogue, and that was clearly there, the sign there. So that was exciting. And it's a little odd once the stars come out, you'd think that they would just kind of go down the line of media outlets. You know what I mean? Like one after the other. Well, they didn't do that. They kind of kept bouncing around. So like Dave Filoni would be way at the far end of the line, and then he'd bounce around to someone after us, like Mashable.com, and then he'd bounce back to the far end again. And we're like, hey, where's our people? How do we talk to anybody? Well, what I noticed was there was these handlers who were standing behind each of the stars. And one of the handlers happened to see my fox slippers and my pajama pants. And that was my in, because she walks up to me and she's like, you are my hero. Because I hadn't had time to change from the pajama party to the red carpet. And so that was my moment. So I asked her, hey, can we maybe get some interviews? You know, after I acknowledged that, yes, I'm awesome because I'm wearing pajama pants. and she goes, well, you want all of them? And I said, well, of course, yes. So after that, some stars were, handled our way. And up first was Dave Filoni with some great insight into season 2.
Now, today we just saw the trailer. Yeah. Now, what has been the biggest fan reaction from the trailer?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, I think it depends what you like in Star Wars. I think the biggest, in my opinion, was the reveal of Captain Rex surviving the Clone Wars and now coming into Star Wars Rebels. It was a great moment for the crew of Rebels and definitely for D. Bradley Baker.
Twitter's going crazy with, first it was Captain Rex, and then it was Hondo Ohnaka, and things just kept on coming, and now here's an AT-AT.
Yeah. You see that the second or third time, I hope you watch it, because you're so blown away by Rex and Hondo, you're like, wait, was that ATTE fighting a walker? What was that about? So yeah, look for more.
We say look for more. Now, in the Clone Wars, you had a lot of Kenner toy references. What can we look forward to in Rebels?
Well, I think like season 1, we set the standard with a lot of reference to old Joe Johnston and Ralph McQuarrie designs. So I still steal from that. We have some Kenner influences all over the place. It's amazing how much the original sculpts from the 70s seem to influence the look of this show. It's always a help when we're doing a design, even like with Vader. By the way, there's the most amazing Dengar cosplay behind you. Just look at that.
Hey, Dengar!
Look at that. That's incredible. That's Dengar done right.
Dave Filoni's calling you out.
Unbelievable. Amazing. But you never know. Yeah, you never know.
Now, how about the Star Wars Holiday Special? What can we expect from the Star Wars Holiday Special in Rebels?
The Star Wars Holiday Special. Wow, you threw me with a loop there. I'm trying to think, did we do a Christmas episode in Rebels? Boy, I don't think so. Wookiees are very hard to do unless I have the budget to do them. I already tried to do them in Rebels, and they came out okay. I like the ones in Clone Wars better. They were pretty good. But I think if we did them again, Kelly and I would have to sit down and find a way to make them look more convincing. And then, I don't know, maybe a Life Day reference is the best you're going to get, though, if anything.
Right on. Tiya Sircar had some say in her new look for season 2.
Asked me several months ago, he was like, hey, thinking about changing Sabine's hair, what colors would you like it to be? And I was so honored that he asked for my input, and I was like, okay, I gave it a lot of thought, and I gave him an answer, and then like months later, he was like, oh we're doing something different. I was like, dang it, so close, but I was still very honored that he asked. I think it had to do with like what showed up on, in the animation best. So, and it's Dave. He can do whatever he wants as far as I'm concerned. He knows best. But yeah, I think she looks awesome. I think it might continue to change. I think. Yeah, she likes to change it up and mix things up, and she, is so like she loves worrying about the aesthetics of things. So her explosions are different colors. Her hair is different colors. She's an artist. Yeah. I think the more we get to know each of these characters on as individuals, I think the more sort of rich the sort of history of these rebels will be, and so it informs our day-to-day, and how we interact and how we sort of view the world. And so I think you will get to learn a little bit more about Sabine in season 2 and sort of why is she so angry, and what happened that would cause her to reject the Empire in such a sort of violent way, really, literally. So I think it's fascinating. I mean, I can't wait to find out more about each of our characters because it's, it just makes the show more interesting.
Now, I think Taylor Gray, he was the most excited of all the stars of Star Wars Rebels to be there. Here is his excitable interview.
We are now talking to Taylor Gray, Mr. Ezra Bridger. Give it up there. Hey, so you said this was the first time you had seen the trailer for season 2. What did you think?
Blew me away. I wanted to see it again too. Everyone was standing up cheering, and we're like, let's watch it again. I was like, fantastic, because this is unbelievable. It was so fun to see it with the audience's reaction as well. People were going nuts, and it's so fun. I didn't see Ezra has a scar now, so I got to see what that looked like, and it's fun to see some of the new characters they dropped hints about, so it's so exciting.
Yeah, Twitter is going crazy with everything, and everyone's like, is that a scar? Is that an Anakin type scar on Ezra? What is going on over there? So now, when people watch the end of season 2, what's the one thing you want them to walk away with pertaining to Ezra?
Gotcha. I hope we now look at him in a light where we think he's more reputable as a Jedi. I hope people see that he has harnessed the Force more and can now wield it for good, and can do some damage with it as well.
Do you like Ewoks?
I love Ewoks.
Awesome.
Up top of the Ewoks.
Now, Ashley Eckstein, I was so excited to see her again after we had just had her on Fangirls Going Rogue episode 18. And she gives us a bit of insight into how she was picked to play Ahsoka. And her answer really solidifies why we as fangirls love them both.
Since Ahsoka was a brand new character, when I first went into the audition, they actually wanted to give Ahsoka an accent. They wanted to give her a Icelandic accent, actually, and I couldn't do it. I was terrible at it. But they saw me behind the scenes talking to my regular voice, and they liked kind of my attitude and what I was doing just with my regular voice, and I ended up booking the role. I was really surprised because I thought my audition was terrible. And I came in and they said, look, we just want you to use your own voice and bring a lot of your own attitude to it. And so from the very beginning, Dave would ask me, he was like, how do you think Ahsoka would say that? Which a lot of it was just, how would I say that? Right. And then throughout the seasons, I was able to give my input. I don't write the stories. It's just in terms of my performance, I'm able to give input. And so it's funny, because even though she's in a galaxy far, far away, we have a lot of the same life experiences. And so I try to just bring a lot of myself now to the character in Rebels.
I love Ashley's energy. Amazing.
I know. She's just the sweetest ever. I feel like she's just amazing. And, in our pajama party, we each talked about our fangirl flail moment. Well, I asked Ashley what was her moment.
Oh my goodness, hands down, my favorite moment was when Kathleen Kennedy walked out on stage in the big panel in her Universe t-shirt. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea she was going to wear our t-shirt. I think my jaw dropped to the floor. I was honored. I was speechless.
Does everybody have the t-shirt?
You know what? I don't yet, but I do need to get it. I never got a chance to really go on the show floor and go past her universe and buy stuff.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy bought her t-shirt. How amazing is that?
That is so cool.
Like I said, everybody was saying Kathleen Kennedy's awesome, but that she came out in the Star Wars Her Universe t-shirt is amazing.
And
So
I could see how that would be Ashley's fangirl flail moment ever.
I believe they sold out on the floor too, but I'm sure they'll make a gazillion from, well, everybody had to have it, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was Ashley's fangirl flail moment, and she actually happened to give us a fangirl flail.
Hi, I'm Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka Tano, and you are listening to Fangirls Going Rogue. Yup, nup, fangirl flail.
Now, Dave Filoni, however, he needs to be educated on the fangirl flail. And then, Dave, I just wanted to thank you so much for all you do for fangirls. I know you're a big proponent of Ahsoka Tano coming into Star Wars Rebels, and I really want to say thank you. And I know for Fangirls Going Rogue, I speak on behalf of them, like Tricia Barr and Teresa Delgado. And so I just, if you could give us a fangirl flail, that would be amazing. Oh, you don't know what a fangirl flail is? I don't know what that is. Okay, so imagine Kermit. Yeah, Kermit going, whoa, everyone going, whoa.
And
so
what do I do when I
okay,
do that?
so we go, when you have a moment that you're so excited that you just can't hold it all in, you go,
Just like Kermit the Frog.
so exciting.
I don't ever do that.
Now, at the very end, we weren't able to talk to all the stars because at the very end we were kind of rushed for time, running out of time. But Vanessa Marshall saw our Fangirls Going Rogue name, and her handlers were like trying to handle her off the red carpet, and she's like, "Oh no, I have to talk to them." So she ran over and gave us her fangirl flail.
Yes, okay, this is Vanessa Marshall. I play Harrison Dula on Disney XD's Star Wars Rebels, and this is my fangirl flail. I love you guys.
Aw, and Teresa, you were there for when she got inducted into the 501st?
Ooh. I was. I actually knew about it, and I was sitting on it for a while, and then saw them start to arrive and everything, and it was really cool because she didn't really know what was going on. And I stepped out of the way and kind of off to the side so I could get some pictures. And the funniest thing happened. So I'm standing like basically on top of Taylor Gray because the 501st is like crowded in. And he looks at me and he's like, "Hey, so what's going on?" And I'm like, "She's getting inducted into the 501st. He's like, "Well, how do you do that?" And Tia's right behind me. And Tiya goes, "Taylor, you have to be a super fan like Vanessa. It's okay. One day you'll get there." And I was just dying. And me and Tiya were laughing, and we were like, "Is she crying? Is she crying? I think she's crying." We were trying to take pictures and stuff. And so, yeah, me and Taylor and Tiya had a good time during the 501st induction trying to get some pictures of Vanessa. But it was really cool. I wasn't expecting any of the things that happened on Sunday to happen to me. Like, at all.
It sounds like, but that I'm super excited that, Vanessa is such a big fan of just Star Wars in general. And so I was so excited when I saw that tweet pop up that was happening right then. So amazing. So while we were there at the pajama party, did I say it right? PJ party.
You know what? You can say it any way you want.
All right. We can say it any way we want. We had, the Ultimate Star Wars copy was not there, and we didn't have Amy's ring that we were giving away. Amy Ratcliffe had generously donated a ring. So what we told people was that if you tweeted at us that you had a picture from the panel, you would be in the running and you had to put fangirl flail hashtag on it. Teresa and I were adding hashtags.
Yes, you were.
Delicious. No, really. Tweet a picture from the panel and you'll be in the running for a signed copy of Ultimate Star Wars, which I do have in my possession. And you're probably lucky because let me tell you, the books are heavy. They're backpack busters and it would have been loaded down your suitcase, but I'm going to send it to somebody from that. And we will announce who that is on our next show, and also Amy's ring. And then our next show will give away the second Amy's ring from for anybody who's listening who didn't get to go there. So those giveaways are underway. Ultimate Star Wars, and these are for people who were at the podcast stage and took pictures of us. So
Okay,
That's
so just to recap, so the people who took pictures of us are eligible to win Ultimate Star Wars that's signed by all four.
Yeah,
by
no,
you.
by me, and
Okay.
I'll get Adam's signature, and I'll try to get the others. So, but yeah, so people who are at the podcast stage are eligible for those 2 giveaways.
Okay.
And just tweet the picture to us, and we will put you in the running. And we already have a bunch of tweets and some video of things.
Woohoo! Video of certain things, right?
Certain things, but
certain things that are going to cause certain people's best friends to die.
But Teresa and I had, after Sarah ran away, we get to give a couple away, but I just am blown away by being able to give so many kids action figures, Sabine and Hera and Princess Leia action figures at the podcast stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks so much to the generosity of all of our listeners. Like, they are so amazing.
You made some little kids' days, seriously, by donating. It was cool. We just kept pulling them out of the bag, and I was like, 1 Hera, 7 Heras.
Exactly.
Sabines.
Exactly. And we got to give away Chief Chirpa.
Yes.
Yes,
I wanted to keep him. Y'all have no idea how hard that was for me to give it away.
Aww. And a bunch of Princess Leia comics too.
Yeah, and so I want to really emphasize that these were not sponsors giving us stuff other than the Ultimate Star Wars. These were listeners giving us stuff to give to children. So, and other people that there were some adults in there we gave, but it was those action figures mean everything. And at the women who fought the Clone Wars, rebel women who fought the Clone Wars panel, it was brought up. They're like, how do we tell people? And, they were like, these ladies on there, like, we can't really tell you who to talk to, but we can tell you that it does matter that you speak up about it. So, just to say that you want action figures and stuff like that. So,
definitely. Yeah, I want to acknowledge some of our listeners who donated, and those are Matt Appleby, Joey Pittman, Darth Taxis, Glenn Stein, and Patty Hammond and her husband made the pixie dust. So if there was anyone we did not acknowledge because we were, getting ready and people were still donating items to us at the very beginning of our show to give away. So please let us know if we didn't acknowledge you, and we will make sure that we acknowledge you.
Yes. So now, Teresa, did you have fun with Aaron on the stage?
Maybe a little bit.
Let's play. Teresa and Aaron were talking about essentially the experience in the convention on the floor. So let's listen to it.
Okay, so I've got my co-host from Bookworms, Aaron Goins. If he can come up here for me, so I can give him a warm round of applause. And he's excited to talk to me. Why did you bring my subject?
This is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, maybe we
It's
should.
always embarrassing to show up to a party wearing the same thing as somebody else. But if it's her universe, it's pretty cool though, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it fits you.
It's his is our universe. But
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
I always
Yeah.
wanted to get a her universe item because she makes such awesome designs. And then I found the sweatshirt and I was like, it's not necessarily like a girl's cut. I can fit into it.
No, it's not. It's actually unisex. So for you guys out there, if you want to get one, it is a unisex style sweatshirt. So see, we've got a wonderful model over here for you.
FANgirl flail while you're standing up.
FANgirl flail?
You have to do it. You have to do it.
Is there a videotape you going on with?
I'm pretty sure. Do you want me to do it with you?
Yes.
Okay. It spreads magic, right? And big. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
You guys don't know how amazing we just got Aaron to do that.
That's the most excited I've ever been.
Yes. In your entire life.
Yes.
Ever. Okay, so what has been your fangirl flail moment of the convention? Or whatever you want to call it.
See, I didn't know what your guys were going to be, and Tricia's was exactly the same as mine. The Force Awakens trailer but specifically the X-Wing part. I'm kind of partial to X-Wings myself. I have some tattoos of X-Wings, and just to see the way that those X-Wings come swooping toward the screen, like, it just blew my mind. That's something that, you know, original trilogy is great, prequels are great, but that kind of visual, we've never seen that before in Star Wars. And yeah, so that was watching the trailer. And the trailer kind of started out a little slow, and I'm just like, okay, you know, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is what we kind of waited in line overnight for. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, the X-Wings. And I was just like, oh, like I think I just had this deep, like, breath.
Oh, you did. I can vouch for that. I was sitting there.
Yeah, that was definitely my flail moment.
Yeah, and I can let you all know there were fanboy tears. So, but he's proud of it. He owns it. You own it.
Both times they showed the trailer, they were tears.
Can we ask the guys in the audience who was crying during the trailer? Yeah.
Admit it and own it. Admit it
If
and
you
own it.
didn't raise your hand, you're lying.
Okay, so we've been walking the con floor. We've been going to some panels and stuff. So, what is one of your highlights from a panel so far?
Okay, so the Rebels panel this morning was amazing. And so they brought out the whole cast, and then they showed us the trailer, and then we find out certain characters are coming back. So now we have Rex is back, and so D. Bradley Baker is back on the cast, which was amazing. So yeah, just that whole panel was just amazing. And that trailer too. I mean, it was kind of I would say the Force Awakens trailer was a bigger impact for me, but that trailer was pretty amazing too.
And so we do know for a fact, we actually got to attend the press conference panel. Jim Cummings is actually back voicing Hondo. He's also Pooh Bear, which is very important. That's a very important fact. And James Earl Jones is back as Vader. He will be the voice of Vader for season 2. So let's see. Okay, so from the convention floor, what's one of your highlights? Or a couple of
So I'm part of the podcast Star Wars Bookworms, and so yeah, so
I didn't know that.
so I'm kind of partial to the literature stuff. So going around and looking at the different booths, DK and Del Rey and the other book stuff that's going on out there. But Del Rey has an awesome booth with the artwork from Dark Disciple, which is a book I'm really excited for. And then we got to interview some authors for Star Wars Bookworms, which we did. James Lucino on the floor, which was awesome, and then Chrissy Golden and John Jackson Miller as well. So,
Can I tell you my moment? I was down on the floor to do an interview before the Force Awakens trailer, and I'm looking for the newscaster to interview me this time. And I'm looking, and I look up, and there's this kind of group of people, and I'm like, that's J.J. Abrams. That's Kathleen Kennedy. So I'm like, okay. Flailing inside. I'm cool. And then it's Bob Iger, and I'm not cool. So I ran down to the Del Rey Star Wars booth because Eric Weiss, who's a friend of the show, was there, and he's the only person I knew on the floor that I could tell. And I'm just like, JJ, get there already, because we don't, they just have initials now. And so that was a moment. And then I actually ran past her universe, and because everybody's now scrambling to get their stuff set up. But I do have video of JJ signing this Rey speeder, which I will be posting, and I was standing right there next to him with just a molder from Forcenet, so we were snapping pictures. They didn't make us stop, so we're not complaining.
yeah, I didn't see JJ on the floor, which would have been amazing, but Dave Filoni was out there. We saw him signing posters.
Yeah, he signed posters. I would say, as far as for me, this is my first celebration, so I'm kind of in awe. My highlight from a panel is actually from the podcast stage, and it's from our Bookworms panel that we did yesterday. It was like this, it was full, and it blew me away, and it's just so amazing that we have you guys actually listen to our podcast, because we put these things out, and you never really know if anybody's listening unless they happen to tweet back at you or something. And so this room has been magical, and that's because of you guys, not because of us at all. So thank you, that's for you. And then I think from the floor, for me, it was going to the Topps Digital Card Trading booth. I don't know if you guys have listened to the last episode of Bookworms or FANgirl Blog. I am obsessed with Star Wars Topps Digital trading cards. I also collect the actual cards, but the digital cards are amazing, and I've been collecting my credits every day, and I've been so busy that I just haven't been able to really go and open more packs of cards. But if you have anything you want to trade, I am actually running the Ewok Refuge on my fan name on the game, so feel free to trade me Ewoks. And I'm Ice Cold Penguin on the game. So, and I think you do it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The top scheme is very addicting. I thought that Celebration might break your addiction because I hadn't seen you on your phone like trading cards like you typically do. So, but I don't know. I'm guessing you might get right back to it.
She's saving up her credits.
Yeah.
I'm saving my credits for massive pack opening
I
afterwards.
think, okay, Teresa, I got an alert on my phone. I was debating if I should tell you this because you might lose all focus for the rest of this. But there is a special Rebels pack for Celebration that's coming out in like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. When's the show?
Let's take it.
Okay, you guys, your ears are gonna go, it was gonna be bad, so we were gonna keep it from our show. Wait, give her a moment.
Okay, she'll be okay. Ewoks are really, really special. So, anyway, you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay. All right. So, do you have any other highlights so far?
Oh man.
Specifically from Star Wars Celebration.
From Star Wars
Not
Celebration.
just in your life in general.
Yeah. Just Star Wars Celebration to me, I go to a lot of comic book conventions and geek conventions, but Star Wars Celebration is different than any convention I've ever been to, and it's mainly because of the fans that come to. The Star Wars fans are amazing, and they're friendly, and we all kind of are one big family. And just to come here and just see all the faces of everybody that I know, all the people that I interact with through podcasting and on Twitter and on Facebook, and just seeing them in person and getting to have conversations about Star Wars. And back home, I don't have a lot of Star Wars friends. I'm kind of, I have a couple friends that are like, oh, I've seen the movies, but and I have to deal with Teresa while I'm here. No, but it's awesome to see just all my Star Wars friends and actually get to hang out with them. So I guess that would be kind of the overall highlight for this convention.
I think that's a highlight for pretty much everybody in this room, and getting to meet people, and definitely us getting to hang out with all of our friends. So if you guys can all give a round of applause for Aaron, thank you for coming up on stage.
Thanks for having us.
Well, that is going to be an experience on a podcast stage that will be long remembered. And if you haven't caught the video of Aaron doing the fangirl flail, there is one given to us by our listener and good friend, Chickafant, and that's great. But I'm waiting for another video from a listener from Disney Vault Talk. His name is John Swinimer, and he supposedly videotaped it and is turning it into a GIF. So,
you were going to be so in trouble. And now every time anybody goes, "What's a fangirl flail?" we're going to put that up. and poor Aaron. I mean, he was a good sport, though.
But the best part, he didn't just flail. Did y'all notice his little dance he started doing?
Yeah, he got the whole.
Yep.
He got the whole.
He got the
thing
hips going.
Yes, he did. I was really impressed because, Aaron, he plays it cool, but he is a big Star Wars fan, and he went all in, and we appreciate everybody who came there, and most importantly, everybody who came up and talked to us and shared the experience. So I was just, that was a fun moment to see him do that.
Yes.
And so we talk about, Princess Leia and what it means to be a Star Wars. And, we've all talked about becoming a Star Wars fan. And after my certain point of view, a diversity of opinions panel on Sunday morning, which was amazing. And there is going to be full video of that. And I can't do it justice anyway, because I gave my panelists clipboards to answer. It was like a game show at the beginning. And then when we got to the non-clipboard part, they just kept writing things on the clipboard. So I can't even do justice to what was happening at that panel without video. Because I was like, what are they writing? And then I'm starting to see pictures come up on my phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are so funny. So
yeah, and if you were following along, I was live streaming it from Meerkat on Twitter. So if you follow Skywalking Pod on Twitter, I live stream things from time to time, and that was one of the things I did.
that was one of the things. So Jen Heddle did the Prince. I call it the Princess Leia's Awesome panel, but that wasn't the name of it. But it was. I'll call it the Princess Leia's Awesome panel. And she said she essentially told Mary Franklin, she's like sent an email and said, well, you should do a panel on Princess Leia. And she said she got back an email that was like, okay, so who are your panelists and give me your moderator.
Wow. I guess that was a good idea.
Either that or she won't ever suggest a panel ever again. But there were a number of panels featuring women. Dave Filoni hijacked Jimmy and Jason's stage and did the Rebel Women who fought the Clone Wars panel. So, and then on this one, we had Kat Tabor, who was our first Fangirls Going Rogue guest ever, right, Teresa?
Yep.
And she was on that panel. I got to see her for a brief second and say hi before it started. And then one of the amazing things which we finally got to see was some of the women in the story group. So Rain Roberts, who, if you've seen the Star Wars Rebels packages on StarWars.com, Rain Roberts has been speaking about working on Star Wars Rebels. And she was on the Rebel Women Who Fought the Clone Wars panel, and she was on this Princess Leia panel. So here we are getting some people on the story group who get to talk about Princess Leia and what it means to her. So I wanted to just let you guys listen because we're starting to get to hear the people who were working on The Force Awakens and everything talk about what these characters mean to her. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Being a fan of Princess Leia and Star Wars affected how I got to my profession, but I knew every day I use her as an archetype to do my job. Mm-hmm. And it's just really great that George created this wonderful, empowered female character who's also feminine and feisty and carries a blaster and is also a politician she's a friend. She's a good friend to Han and Luke, and there's so many wonderful characteristics that she has, and that's the archetype that we use for female characters when we're making Star Wars, and when we do Rebels, and when we do the new movies, that's where we start from. And so it's just great that she's our model, and we don't want to. I never want to, go below how high George set the bar for her. And it makes we have these conversations all the time about the kind of women that we portray in Star Wars, and she's just the model that we go to. So I just, sometimes working in story groups a bit like being an archaeologist or an art historian. You're always looking at what George did and trying to extrapolate what the deeper meaning was, or what he was trying to say there. And you're always looking at every scene, every line of dialogue, and what did that mean? And so we're always, as we continue to tell stories about Leia and other characters, we're trying to use that as a model. And I just, as a character that doesn't really exist, I thank her every day.
So essentially she's like, this is the archetype and George Lucas rocks. So that's, and it's a really great clip. And then Teresa, Katie Cook actually talked about
ponies.
Yes. I didn't even have to say it.
No. Katie Cook is the artist, right?
The artist.
Yes.
Who, that's why Teresa knew, right? Because she works on My Little Pony. So she got to talk about My Little Pony meets Star Wars on this panel. So
Yeah, she did. Heck yeah, she did.
I have to play this.
Woo! And she talked about Applejack, who's my favorite.
She did.
Sorry, I'm doing a dance.
Oh.
There are a few things in this world that get me excited. That's one of them.
And I use the characters for Star Wars kind of in the back of my mind because it's, I don't write Star Wars, but I do write My Little Pony. And I kind of, in my mind, have a cast of who's who in the Star Wars universe as My Little Pony characters. Because they're the characters that I'm way more familiar with. And Princess Leia is actually a combination of Twilight Sparkle and Applejack. And I kind of piece her out into those two characters.
So there's that one. And then Jen Heddle, was the host of this moderator who had this brilliant idea to have. And if you guys ever follow Jen Heddle on Twitter, she's at Jen Heddle. She's the editor at Lucasfilm. So she edits the adult novels and has been editing the comics with Marvel. She got to talk a little bit about Princess Leia, and again, just talk about creating her and being a woman on this team. So I wanted to play some of her thoughts on Princess Leia because she's a major fan, and she's written about Princess Leia and Han Solo. She's a huge fan of Empire Strikes Back on StarWars.com. So let's listen to that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking for myself, I think it's actually been a very direct influence for me. I think that, I grew up as a fan of science fiction, but I think that was largely because of Star Wars. I think if it hadn't been for Star Wars, that probably wouldn't have been the case. And I also always loved to read, and so when I was going out, to find a career, I wound up in science fiction publishing, which directly led to the job I have now. And certainly, I was in New York publishing. I'm a native New Yorker, and there's absolutely no way in the world I would have moved to San Francisco to take this job if I hadn't loved Star Wars so incredibly much. And I'm finally actually having professional dividends to spending my entire life obsessing about Princess Leia. Sometimes if we're working on a scene or a story, and I just try to approach it the way I think Leia would approach it, and it usually works out pretty well from what I hear, and so that's just really satisfying for me.
And then we had Rain Roberts Rain Roberts from the story group, so we're getting to hear some more on her hopes for Princess Leia, who she might have given a little bit of idea of some things we will see in The Force Awakens.
I do know what she's going to do in the movie. But I guess I should say. I do too. I guess I could just say my hope is that everyone enjoys what we've done with the character, and I feel really excited about it. So, other cats.
And then, and Sarah, you didn't get to hear this part, but Jonah joined us for the fan feedback discussion, and Teresa and Jonah and I had a great discussion about just being fans and helping your little fangirls and raising fangirls and helping them find this. And I thought Teresa made some excellent points. So let's listen to that too.
So we wanted to bring up Johnamarie Macias from the Wookiee Gunner, who's our Captain Rex fan. Are you recovered? Are you recovered? Are you okay?
I have recovered.
All right, come on up, Jonah. I like the pajamas.
Thank you.
See, you're so delicious too.
Yeah, you're so delicious too.
Although I don't think that's really true. You're more big bag.
Well,
you're cloney.
I am cloney.
He's cloney. So one of the things we like to do on the show is get questions from the fans and get their thoughts and have discussions, because sometimes you might say something, you'll generate a discussion. And I actually had a Facebook message from Chad Lauterbach a while ago, and he wanted to ask us at Celebration, one thing I would like to openly discuss is how a Star Wars father can help his daughter enjoy the nuances of the saga and all the canon, and still teach her how to form her own identity in relation to what was previously on screen in the books.
That was an awesome question. I turned to a couple of my friends and my best friend last night because it was something that I really didn't know how to tackle, because I don't have a daughter, so I can't, but I am a daughter. So my dad isn't a Star Wars fan, so I never really had to worry about, relating to him, because I would relate through other things. Like we used to watch, I know the younger ones don't know, but MASH and Seinfeld and the A-Team, MacGyver. So, all these things, he never really forced them upon me. Because I wanted to spend time with him, I would sit next to him and enjoy that material and that content with him. So, I guess as a parent, as much as you want them to appreciate what it is that you appreciate, it's best not to force that upon them. Just let them foster that love for what you love. In terms of Star Wars, like the books and the past, the EU legends, that's something that they would have to come up, grow up on their own and try to tap into. You can certainly break out your own collection and be like, hey, this is what I love. and then have that. Just plant the seed and hopefully it'll grow within them to enjoy what you love. And then yeah, so gotta thank my friends for helping me piece that together. And I hopefully I'll have maybe a adopted daughter of my own later, and hopefully she'll love Star Wars. But if she doesn't, and she likes Star Trek, then.
This is why we had Jonah up, because she gives the best answers. So also Jonah was on, have you seen the little short teaser for the FANgirl documentary, Squee?
Oh yeah!
Yeah, so Squee, the FANgirl project documentary is in the works. They are looking for funding. We have information. We've talked about it on FANgirls Going Rogue. It's up on FANgirl Blog. But they just dropped their trailer. They're going to be going around and talking about the movement of female fans, and Jonah is in the teaser for it. So she is a great example of the FANgirl. And not just that, she can dig up the crazy minutia and figure out, like, from two little pictures that this was related to that, 18 years ago, and so we appreciate that. But I actually got to talk with Squee too, and they wanted to talk about terms that women use, and one of them they asked was the FANgirl flail, and I actually got to explain that FANgirl flail started on our show as far as the hashtag movement. And the best part is we get guys who they tweet us and say, is it okay if I FANgirl flail about that? So anyway, it's fun. So,
Yeah, it's fine. Aaron does it, so it's okay.
You guys you don't know. This was a big moment.
It was a big moment for you. I think this is now your highlight of the presentation.
So what was your FANgirl flail moment?
Man, I know. Well, besides Captain Rex just showing up on the screen, which is awesome, I nearly fainted. I actually did start to feel a bit of pain in my chest. I'm like, oh my god, this is a heart attack. This is what I see the light. But yeah, I think the best moment so far was experiencing Ahsoka Lives Day with a whole bunch of Ahsoka fans. We rounded everyone up at the fountain outside, and we basically just gathered together, talked about Ahsoka, took pictures, handed out pins, and what was really neat, there was a big surprise for everyone, was Ashley Eckstein showing up with Dave Filoni. So it was a great group picture that we got. It was a bit hot. It was out there for like 45 minutes. I think I got sunburned, but it was awesome, and it was one of my favorite experiences here.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a moment I wish I could have been there, was trying to get there. And you know what, you can still be part of the movement and just hashtag Ahsoka Lives and support that, and if you have a picture of yourself wearing an Ahsoka t-shirt. But there was, I think they've been overwhelmed by the response to her coming back.
Yeah. And it's funny because one of the things we did, and instead of saying 1, 2, 3 cheese, we said Ahsoka Lives. And Dave was like, pressure.
Well, the kids today on the panel, the kids, they always ask the tough questions. It used to be, is Ahsoka going to, is Ahsoka going to die during the Clone Wars? And so, they went to the little kids, and he's like, you could see him just like being, oh man, what are they going to ask me?
Yeah, Dave took us judging meal, because I don't think he took it all, so they're going to judge him.
Didn't you give him one in his signing?
I did. Yesterday he was doing a Hasbro signing with a poster of Ahsoka and Darth Vader, and I went up to him and I gave him a Tuca doll that was gray and it had the Wolfpack logo on it. He loves wolves. So, and he's like, oh my god, this is awesome! And I'm like, yay! And yeah, he loved it. I loved the signing. And we took a picture together. it was a fantastic experience. There's so many fangirl flail moments, and it's just mind-blowing, really.
Yeah, I got the 501st to fangirl flail at the party last night.
Oh, that's so cool.
No, they didn't realize it. It's going up on video too. That's how we do things. Wait, and then I got to dance with R2D2, and there's going to be video that Kay was dancing with me, and also in her FANgirl Blog, and R2 can shake it. Well, one of the things that was actually in that Facebook question that we didn't touch on was fangirls being able to maintain their own identity. And I think that that's a really good topic to discuss, because that's one of the things that I was taught. And whereas you didn't have things forced upon you, I had Star Wars forced upon me when I had chickenpox. I had no choice but to watch it, and so here I am. But one of the things that my mom taught me, and this could be done by a mother or a father, is to be strong in who you are. And actually, Freddie Prinze Jr. said it today, is that people are going to make fun of you no matter what. They're going to find a reason to make fun of you at some point in your life, unless you're just some kind of really super cool person like Aaron. They don't make fun of you. But, or Freddie Prinze Jr. But everybody gets made fun of at some point in their life, and so you just have to decide what those things are that you're going to own and who you're going to be, and the earlier you can decide that, the better it is for you, because then you can you own it, and it becomes a part of who you are and a part of your personality. And I think all of us in here, we're all here at Star Wars Celebration, whether we're wearing a cosplay costume or just a Star Wars t-shirt, or maybe not even wearing a Star Wars shirt. And we're all here because we love the same thing, and we all own it. I don't think there's a single one of you in here that doesn't. And so we've all learned to be proud of who we are. And maybe it took some of us a while, and maybe some of us have gone through our ups and downs with it. But one of the things that we can teach all of our little ones is just from the very beginning, be who you're going to be and be proud of it. And, and that could be with any fandom, not necessarily just Star Wars.
So after we talked about all of that very super intense fun stuff, we had to go into what we do on every episode, which is our character discussion. And for this particular episode, we decided to do Ewoks. And you know what? It speaks for itself. So let's just listen to all of the fun things we had to say about Ewoks.
Sidious, Anakin, Luke and Leia, Qui-Gon Jinn, C.O. Bibble, Kylo Ren, Salacious, Crumb, Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett, Amidala, Wicket, R2-D2, BB-8, I can barely keep it straight. It's a character discussion. It's the fangirls on character. It's a character discussion.
So, we obviously have to start with the most obvious Ewok, and that's the one that most everybody knows the name of, which is Wicket, and played by the amazing Warwick Davis, who is just phenomenal. Can I please get a round of applause for Warwick? He's not here, but he's very, very busy. He was invited, but he just couldn't make it, and that made me very sad. But Wicket, for me, there's so much about him, and I know a lot of people had issues with the special editions, and now the guys linking and all that stuff, but I loved it. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about is, do you think that Ewoks are really dangerous? Because... Yeah. No, they're not. See, they know. They're not really dangerous. They're not really going to do anything to you.
This is from the Dark Side Girl? Yeah.
I have an Ewok thing, and then I have the other thing. The Maul Sith thing.
No, Ewoks are dangerous. It's the cute, cuddly nature of them. But they were there to sort of create, Sam Witwer talked about it a couple times on podcasts where, as a kid, there was a lot going on in Return of the Jedi. And then you get this moment where you're like, okay, there's a cute, cuddly teddy bear, so I'm okay. They're blowing up whole Star Destroyers, but I'm okay. There's cute, cuddly teddy bears. So you don't really process what's going on. And they're the little guys who overcome the Empire, right? They couldn't have done it without them, so they're a little dangerous.
I mean, maybe a little bit dangerous. They do have these big log things that somehow they manage to get up in the air like that. I mean, I don't know how it happens. Yes, they do smash a chicken walker from right down here. So, what do you think? Are they dangerous?
I think they're cool people. They're cool. I would hang out with them. I think they're just very protective. So if they don't recognize you, they're going to fear you and respond back. So, like Leia, she offered him a little treat, and he was okay with that. And he approached her, and he wasn't evil. So, yeah, I think Ewoks are just like any one of us. You know, if we don't see something, we're kind of scared of it, but we warm up to each other after we break the ice.
How do you guys feel about Ewoks being pilots or Jedi or Sith? I mean, I don't know. They could be anything in the galaxy. How do you guys feel about that maybe showing up at some point in Star Wars?
Yeah. Yes, Lieutenant Ketch. Or maybe that was the best
Definitely Ketch.
ever in the X-Wing series. Okay, I'm the X-Wing series fan out here. Yeah. Woo. So if I saw an Ewok pilot on animation or on film that where you just have to pick me up off the floor. So yeah, I think they can do it all.
I think they can too. What do you think?
I'd love to see a Mandalorian.
Yes. Somehow they go to Mandalore and they get armor. You know what? I have another idea to pitch. We always pitch ideas. And I'm actually stealing this one from Aaron Johnamarie. So we were on the elevator yesterday and we were talking, and I've decided, thanks to him, that I want to push really hard for a Chief Chirpa novel. I think it'd be done really well. And I specifically written by James Luceno. That's my goal. Because he writes dark characters, but so like, I think it'd be good. James Luceno?
And Chief Chirpa is actually like a hidden Sith Lord, maybe?
Maybe.
Controlling the galaxy?
But maybe like he's not from Endor and he ends up somehow getting there, and then maybe he turns good somehow. You think? I don't know.
Can there be a handmaid in the book?
There can be a handmaid in the book.
We pitch books and stories all the time. One day one
will become something.
Or they're just going to say, please write some unofficial comic and be done with you. So.
Something like that will probably happen. All right, well, we need to wrap all of this up, so thank you, Jonah, for coming on the stage. You can give Johnamarie
All right, Sarah, since you didn't get to join the discussion, what did you have any thoughts after our insane, crazy pitch that we made?
Hey, Chief Chirpa novel for the win. Actually, here, Sarah, I shall ask you. Okay. Do you think Ewoks are evil?
You know what? I never did until someone brought up, they were about to eat Han and Leia, and well, not Leia, but Han and the rest of them. They were about to eat Han and Luke.
But that's just dinner. That's eating. That's not evil.
No, it's not. I guess you're right. It's not evil. But what's funny is seeing this movie as a kid, I don't think it really hit me that what the Ewoks were doing and that they were in great danger because the Ewoks are so cute, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, they don't read as evil or even dangerous. That's just my opinion. But one interesting thing I want to bring up about Ewoks for me is some of the very first memories of Star Wars I have are of Wicket and Leia sitting on the log. Because when I watched for the very first time, I thought Return of the Jedi when I was 10, I was watching it, and when it came to that scene, I had these vague memories of having seen this before back way, way long time ago. So I must have seen Return of the Jedi when I was 3.5, and those are some of my very first memories of Star Wars.
Or maybe you just remember your mother that you never met.
Very beautiful. Kind, but sad.
Oh, now you're going to have to play some audio.
Yep.
There you go again, Tricia. Editing the show for Sarah.
But it was perfect. That magical music came up in the last episode.
I know, it was magic how that happened.
Pixie dust.
So if you want to find us out on the interwebs and interact with us between shows, you can go to Twitter and you can follow the show at FG Going Rogue. If you want to follow me, that's Teresa. It's at Ice Cold Penguin. If you want to follow Tricia, at Fangirl Cantina, and Sarah is at Jedi Tink.
For email, fangirlsgoingrogue@gmail.com. And we love your emails. We get a kick out of reading them, and we respond to as many as we can. So email us, fangirlsgoingrogue@gmail.com. Facebook, just type Fangirls Going Rogue, and we pop up, and we are rising on the count. So we passed 1138 since our last show. Tumblr, Fangirls Going Rogue, tumblr.com, and we will be tumbling pictures from the convention. Instagram, we had pictures from the convention, and thank you to Sandra for helping out with that. So that's at FG Going Rogue on Instagram.
Yes, and also, if you want to leave a voicemail, we love to hear your lovely voices. You can call us 331-21-EWOKS, or that's also known as 331-213-9657. And we would love it if you would like Rebel Force Radio on iTunes and leave a positive review. And in your review, just mention how much you enjoy us Fangirls Going Rogue.
All right. So that was our amazing, amazing show. And the best part of that whole pajama party was getting to do our clothes with the fans.
So everybody want to do it with us? Y'all want to do it with us? Okay, so I'm just going to go, I'm going to count to 3, and then you guys are going to say yum yum. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming to our live